What's going on, everybody? Mr. Mugen here today, and this is the Mugen Market Watch with our NBA Top Shot 101 series. And in today's video, I just want to cover how NBA Top Shot has affected the physical sports card market. As you can see, I have a Steph Curry PSA 10 Topps Chrome sitting right here on my eBay, and I also want to compare that to NBA Top Shot, pretty much. Like, how is NBA Top Shot affecting the sports card market? And where do I see them going in the future as far as both NBA Top Shot and physical sports cards? And this was a question or a topic that was brought up in my Discord server from a member. So if you do want to kind of like join our Discord, I do have the description in the bottom right there. So come hang out with us as we talk about all things NBA Top Shot and other various topics as well too. And you can also get some strategies as well too, because everybody's talking about what they're trying to do as far as strategy and tactics, as far as NBA Top Shot. So that is very valuable as well too. But yeah, without further ado, let's hop into this video. So where do I think physical sports cards are going to go in the future? Well, for one, my thought on physical sports cards is that the sports cards act more like gold, while NBA Top Shot or NFT digital items are more kind of like Bitcoin or Ethereum, where it's newer, and since it's newer, it has more growth in the short term and possibly even in the long term as well too. So, so let's say if physical sports cards are kind of like gold, then where do I think it's going to go in the future? What are the pros and the cons of having physical sports cards compared to NBA Top Shot moments? Well, for one, I mean, actually just having it, the physicalness of it, that could be a pro and a con for sports cards. Like for one, if we take grading into perspective here, you have to send it out to grading, and not just that, but it's another human being that would be grading it. And yes, if you get a good grade, there's more value that's going to be added to it. As you can see here, I'm pretty sure the Steph Curry Topps Chrome here is usually worth maybe about $3,000 to $5,000, depending on where the market is at. But once you get it graded, it's basically 10 times that. But then you also have to pay for the grading, and not just that, but there's also the turnaround time. So that could be some con in that as well too. So do take that to perspective. And not just that, but your physical sports cards can get destroyed. For example, like if there was a house fire or something like that in your home, like you might not have time to go grab your PSA 10 LeBron James rookie card out of your stash, so, and you also take in, another example is that when I got my ceilings, when the ceilings were being repaired on my house here, I took my physical sports cards and I took them to a family member's house just because I wasn't going to be here. We were staying in another family's house, and I didn't want, I wanted to store them somewhere where I know that people won't go and look into them just because of the value of what the sports cards were at. So those are some things that you have to take into consideration. Some pros of physical sports cards is also the physicalness of it. Like, for example, just being able to hold on to the physical sports card or the physical object does ease my mind personally a little bit. For example, I still collect and I still invest physical sports cards. So you can see here, I have on my Steph Curry NBA premium parallels here, just because, I mean, they're not valued very high. But as a collector, I just like the different parallels. I really like the NBA premium, how the feel of it. And this was the first year that NBA hoops actually printed and produced a higher quality card. So, and not just that, but like you might be thinking, okay, well, why would I still want a physical object, or a tangible object, when I can just have it all digitally? So about 6 months ago, my daughter, she bought a CD player and CDs, and I'm thinking, why do you want to do that? You can basically download and have your playlist all on iTunes, but why would you want to do that? Because you can use this here, and it'd be a lot easier. But from my perspective, I think it's because there's like a certain closeness that you want to, a certain relationship that you want to have with that group, or an example for me, that player or players is like where when you admire them and when you look you look at their game or you look at their skill sets or whatever, it just gives you another way, like, because, NBA Top Shot is just one way of, collecting moments or investing. And then also sports cards is also another way too. So you have to really consider that. And sports cards, like I said, still do hold their value. For example, I know a couple of weeks ago, a Luka Doncic autograph rookie card, not even graded, sold for about $4.2 million. And previous to that, we had Mickey Mantle, LeBron James. Those cards sold for quite a lot too, but that was really in the prime or really in the high of the of sports cards. But I still think sports cards is still at a high. If you look at history, history really usually tells you what's going to happen in the future. History usually repeats itself. So as you can, so let's take an account that sports cards or just cards alone, they were printed back in the 40s or 50s, I believe in the 50s, and as time went by, there were some, the golden era, the silver age, and, whichever age you want to, whichever era you want to talk about. But during those eras, you have times where sports cards were very valued and times where they weren't, like in the 90s, early 80s and 90s, where the demand, I mean, it's such high popularity that they were just printing out as many cards as they could, which actually kind of killed the card market, because the overprinting caused what they call the junk era. Because one thing with collectability is scarcity, rarity. Those are things that we highly value as far as sports cards, especially when you're paying a good amount of money to collect or hold on to those cards. For these cards here, they're just more of, for me, just collecting, and I just like how the way they are. And, and you also have to take into account how old the cards are. Like, for example, I was talking about that Mickey Mantle. I know that there are other, older guys that people collect, because, you want that nostalgic feeling when you have these cards. Like, when I look at the Steph Curry, maybe from 10, 15 years from now, like, I really like it because he's in the motion of doing a step back, but that's just a personal preference. And then if you take into the account of like how old they are, like, for example, Steph came into the league in 09, LeBron in 03, 04. As the years go by, cards get destroyed, cards get lost. So it brings more scarcity too. So that's also something to take into account. And that's why I feel like sports cards are more like gold. And that's actually something that someone I spoke to on Facebook was like, kind of like comparing it like that. And I thought it was very good insight. So, thank you for giving me that insight there. And then, how old they are. Like, for example, this Robin card, right? You're probably like, okay, might not have value, but, as you can tell, I'm a big Batman fan. So this card was produced in 1966. So there is that long-term value. And not just that, but it was the first year that they ever printed out Batman cards. So I know there was a reprint in 91, but us collectors, we like to have that official card. And now I'm going to talk a little bit more about where I'm thinking, or I feel where NBA Top Shot is going to be going in the future. I think that NBA Top Shot does have a bright future, very similar to what sports cards did in the last 3 to 5 years, where there was a high growth. We have new technology, blockchain technology that's still not even 20 years old yet. And that's starting to change a lot of things, like collectability, like NFTs, where you don't have a tangible object and you're collecting in a digital world or on a digital platform. And if you don't understand NFTs and whatnot, a good example of it is, something that's non-fungible would be like a dog, or like these cards. They're all different in their own way, and people value them very differently. Like, go back to the dog example. Like, my dog, and my dog's a German Shepherd, right? So if you had a German Shepherd and I had a German Shepherd, they're the same age. You're like, hey, let's make a straight up trade for it. There's sentimental value to my dog. Like, there's sentimental value to these cards or to the moments that we have. So that, the trade, maybe I'm like, you know what, I might trade you my dog if you add in a cat as well too, to like up that value. So there is that. It's a little bit different, but with more fungible stuff like money, currency. If I gave you $1 in US, it's $1 in US. So that's just very basic NFT stuff. And if you can't grasp your mind around it, like I said, Ready Player One's a very good movie to really think about it. If you look at Facebook and Google and all the big tech companies, they're really starting to invest into what, like Oculus Rift, and augmented reality, virtual reality. So like NBA Top Shot, like this is just the surface. We're barely scratching the surface here, and we already have people panicking and people not. And I understand that some people don't understand what NFTs are. It's kind of hard to like grasp it. If like you really have to be like, I don't know, like a visionary, or really believe in the future of technology to really understand it. And if not, there is something called the NFT Bible online, so you can go check that out if you don't really understand non-fungible tokens. But yeah, I mean, with NBA Top Shot though, like because of the mint count, like I talked about, how the Steph Currys are all like rated at PSA 10. There needs a turnaround time with NBA Top Shot where non-fungible tokens, it's already minted. So there's no turnaround time. The product or the product can't really get destroyed unless like NBA Top Shot fails as a whole, and we're no longer able to grab our moments, which would suck quite a lot. But the mint counts. Like for example, I want to talk about Luka Doncic's PSA 10 Panini Prism card. That has over 11,000 that were graded at a PSA 10. So when you compare that to Luka Doncic's his series 1 3-point shot, which has only about 3,500 minted moments, you can kind of compare and do the math. Like, okay, which one is going to have more value? Just right now, like which one has more value to me? Obviously, the Luka Doncic 3-point moment has more value just because of the mint count itself. And as far as printed physical cards, we don't even know how many are really out there. I don't think Panini really tells us how much they're printing, but at least with NBA Top Shot, they're pretty transparent about what they want to print. If you go onto like cryptoslam.io, they have like a page where it shows what they've just been printing or minting. So, and one other comparison that I want to do as far as Top Shot and physical sports cards is, where has the growth gone? So I've talked about this article quite a bit before. It just talks about how in last year, the eBay reported that they had an increase of about 4 million transactions as far as sports cards, right? Cool. Now, actually not even sports cards, but trading cards as a whole. My bad. But then we go to cryptoslam.io here. We look at the transactions, the lifetime transactions of NBA Top Shot. Well, we've already had about 3,000 transactions, and the platform is only 8 months old. Some of these were mandatory transactions just because people were coming into the market and not, investing or not putting any money into the marketplace, which is in the long term a bad thing. Even in the short term, is pretty bad too, with the more users that aren't, like participating. That really can, to me, destroy a marketplace. So some of these are mandatory buys, which I think is good, because for older collectors or people that have been in the marketplace for a while, like do you have people coming in just buying packs for like, $9 to like $200, and they're able to, flip them real quick and, sell them on eBay, sell them on Facebook Marketplace, or whatever, or sell their Dapper balances, which is fine. You can go ahead and do that. But, we really want to think of NBA Top Shot as a long-term platform of 5 to like 15 or 20 years, or maybe even my lifetime and your lifetime, your kids' lifetime, possibly, you never know. But yeah, I mean, there's that as well too. So if you look at just the transactions, and this is just basketball only, not sports cards as a whole. And yes, you can say, well, eBay, it's just one platform. Yes, I understand that, but you just see the growth of where Top Shop has come. And another thing with that, another contribution to that growth is because the ease of being able to sell your moments and list them on the marketplace. Someone buys it, it's theirs. You get the money in and out. You don't, there's no You don't have to send it out and wait 2, 3 days to get your item. You don't have to wait 3 to 5 business days to get your you don't have to wait 3 to 5 business days to actually get your money. You get it instantly. And in a world where technology is only getting better, we want that instant gratification. Yes, it's bad, but at the same time, um, convenience is very important as far as the way we live. So why physical cards though? I don't know. For some reason, physical cards, when I hold my cards here, I still have like a sense of ease, being able to look at it, hold it. I think that's just like something that we kind of grew up on, where being able to hold certain things. So that NFT and being able to grasp digital assets is kind of hard. Well, I mean, just look at your bank account. That's technically digital. It's just numbers, right? So if you really look at it from that standpoint, or if you really look at, you just have to really look at Top Shot of how, or even like digital art. Those are good examples of non-fungible or intangible assets, that down the line you have to really think about our kids 5, 10 years from now. When they get older, well, they'll be investing more into physical stuff or more digital stuff. And I'm thinking it's both. I've had this example before, like my daughter, she's 12, decided to go buy a CD, decided to go buy a CD player. I'm like, why? You can use your phone and have your playlist and listen to it all on there, but they want to have a certain closeness with that group. Just very similar to me in collecting sports cards. I want to have a certain relationship, or I want to further my relationship, as far as it is with with the players that I admire. So there is that physicalness of it, that the attachment that we do have to it. So that's why physical sports cards, I don't think will go away. At least I don't see it going away anytime soon, because there's still old school guys like me, and even older school guys that still hold value into that. And not just that, but some people can't grasp what NFTs are. So as but yeah, as technology gets better, let's see where it goes. See if I'm heading in the right direction or not. But yeah, other than that, that's been my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Definitely check the description down below, as I do have tons of resources as far as NBA Top Shot. My Discord is down there as well too. Also hit that bell notification, like the video, and subscribe if you haven't. But yeah, other than that, this has been Mr. Mugen with the Mugen Market Watch, and Mugen out.